February 12, 2023, Interreligious Association for Peace and Development, IAPD, held its first Africa Spiritual Day under the theme Ubuntu. The event was hosted in South Africa by the Revelation Spiritual Home, TRSH, led and founded by Imboni, Dr. Uzulezwe Radebe, who is also the chairman of IAPD Africa. IAPD, founded in November 2017 by Dr. Hakja Hanmoon, the Mother of Peace. IAPD is a global network of spiritual and religious leaders joined together to promote interreligious dialogue and peace, and to promote the ideal of a unified world in which all religions coexist in harmony, cooperation, and co-prosperity. IAPD is one of the primary associations of the Universal Peace Federation, UPF. The event was attended by distinguished guests, physically and virtually, including Dr. Yang Ho-Yun, Director General International HQ, Imboni Dr. Uzulezwe Radebe, Chairman of IAPD Africa, Reverend Bakari Kamara, Co-Chair of the Council of Elders in Africa, Dr. Catherine Rainey, Co-Chair of the Council of Elders in Africa and UPF Africa Chair, amongst others. Spirituality is Africa's greatest asset, and with this, IAPD seeks to foster a shiny and bright continent based on the principles of interdependence, mutual prosperity, and universally shared values towards the building of heavenly unified Africa. The opening invocations were Mrs. Zanele Nyati Manyambose, Senior of the Revelation Spiritual Home, and Dr. Sheikh Hassan Kunyun Omari is the Chairman of Peace League Africa. Lecturer of the University of Nairobi on Religious Studies, Advocate at the High Court of Kenya, Ambassador for Peace, UPF, Kenya, and Director of Iqra FM, Islamic Media House. Followed by welcoming remarks by Dr. Catherine Rainey, UPF Africa Chairperson.
Welcoming remarks will be given by Dr. Catherine Rainey, UPF Africa Chairperson. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give a round of applause to Mama Kathy.
Spiritual and religious leaders can help rebuild divided societies and assist in humanitarian services for the alleviation of hunger, disease, and trauma due to violence and war. But this cannot be done in isolation. Our religious leaders need to work together.
Imboni Dr. Uzulezwe Radebe gave a special remark as the chairman of IAPD Africa. Imboni solidified the fundamentals of African indigenous spirituality and urged spiritual and religious leaders to aspire to be more spiritual and to allow spirituality to become their founding base.
For today's formalities, I extend my heartfelt greetings to Dr. Hakja Hanmoon, the true mother, the mother of peace. I would like to thank her for giving us this opportunity to come together as an African people and show the world our diversity. Today is the first of many days where we as Africans celebrate our spirituality under the theme Ubuntu, an African phrase that resonates with every African in Africa and the world over. Ubuntu is one of the many attributes of African indigenous spirituality that truly defines and has shaped us as an African indigenous people. On that note, I implore you to seek wisdom from African indigenous spirituality and follow it.
African Hidden Voices, a research organization, gave a research presentation on the concept of Ubuntu and that the word is birthed by African indigenous spirituality. Imam E.I. Haji Mausa Drame, chairman of IAPD, and Archbishop Professor Ndanga, a special advisor of IAPD Africa, both spoke on the concept of interdependence from an Islamic and Christian perspective.
If today humanity records more than 7 billion people on this earth of men, we must understand that spirituality must prevail. If you go to South Africa, you will find that Africans have maintained their African culture, like the Ivorian. I would say even the Malians, the Senegalese, all over Africa. And if you go elsewhere, to the Asians, the Koreans, the Japanese, even if you go to the big countries like the United States and Europe, each one of us must keep this cultural value, which can push us to the true spirituality.
The parable of the prodigal son and that of the lost sheep are recorded in the Bible to remind us that God expects us to live for the sake of others through living the life of interdependence and universally shared values. No one is to be ignored by our Heavenly Father. The parable of the Good Samaritan is taught to show us that there is need for compassion and the need to help one another. The Africa Spiritual Day has therefore been very well received by us as we act on behalf of the Christian faith everywhere in Africa and beyond.
Closing invocations by Bishop Dr. Emma Gospel Isong, founder and preceding bishop of Christian Central Chapel International. Dr. Luputiye Panasakera, chief monk of Buddhist Society in Africa. The event was filled with entertainment by Ikwaya Yomoya, an African indigenous spiritual choir.